supposed to feel?
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said.
How's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel?
How it's supposed to feel?
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread, with every word that I've said.
How's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel?
I may have broken your stream. Hi, I'm Michael. We do a little podcast called The Canadian Atheist, talking to believers about the silly things that they believe.
Yeah, and there is sound now from me as well, so that is fantastic. Also, joining me, even though you can't see him, although if I may say so, he is looking ravishing tonight. It's Uncle Beck. You are now on stream.
Oh, I was muted. I said, "Oh, hey, good looking. How you doing?"
So we have spots for another person. Well, on how it looks right now on the stream, but ultimately that can go up to 6. If anybody would like to join, just let me know, and I will drop the link down in the live chat. But yes, we are back for another video. I know it's very strange. I'm actually sticking to the schedule that I said I was going to, which is every Wednesday and Saturday. I know what's going on. It's like a new me. Very, very strange.
What the hell, Steven? What were you thinking, man?
I know.
I'm going to start to have expectations of you.
So look, in the interest of kind of continuing what I had said that I was going to do with the last stream, you know, kind of like work backwards and then up to current, because we still didn't do that. We streamed for 3 hours last time and we still didn't even cover half of the stuff. Like we're still going back like 2 weeks in the past to cover some stuff and work up to now, but we will work up to now. I do want to say now, even though it is in the description, I do want to kind of say that we're going to be talking about some very harsh topics a little bit later in the stream. So we're going to be talking about sexual assault or sexual harassment, and we're also going to be talking about gun violence. So I do want to put out a few trigger warnings. If you know, if you are highly unfortunate enough to have been on the negative side of either of those issues, you know, I've said it. We're going to be talking about those things. I have my utmost respect and admiration for anybody who has been on the negative side that is continuing to carry on with life as normal as best they can. So, yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
Yeah, because that's the toughest part.
Yeah.
Just to act like everything's okay at the end of the day.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, even though it's not necessarily the greatest tactic, fake it till you make it, sometimes kind of just has to really be done.
I've lived half my
Sometimes.
life like that, buddy. I know all about it.
Yeah. It's unfortunately just the state of affairs.
Yeah.
So yes, so now if I go over onto this one, we're all still okay. We're all still okay. So I'm going to add that into the stream. Jubilee did a video not that long ago. Well, I say not that long ago. It was back in February, end of February. So it is trans versus conservative men. It's a Jubilee thing. If you're not familiar with it, the basic kind of premise is they get people from different sides of an issue. This time being I think it's generally masculinity. I always say, by the way, if I have watched a video previous to showing it on stream, I will tell you I have not watched this video. I rarely do, if I'm being totally honest. Or if I do, I've only seen like the start of it and then being like, oh yeah, this will be a stream segment. So yeah, so the basic kind of premise is they get two people either side of an issue. They ask them basic questions, and then they kind of go into ranging from strongly agree to strongly disagree, and then they bring people in. They have a conversation about it. The only thing that I know about this video is that apparently it has gotten a little bit spicy, and I'm not 100% sure that is the case. Again, haven't watched this before, but I guess we'll find out together.
We'll learn
experiment
together.
that brings
We
humans
will
with
see.
opposing beliefs together. These discussions may contain viewpoints that are the result of misinformation. Remember to seek out experts and to be critical of your own biases while forming an opinion. Please see the humanity in each participant, and as always, we encourage empathy.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
So when you say we're just redefining what being a man is, you have to understand you're redefining a fabric in society that has kept the human race and got it to where it is today.
But do you see the state of our world today? It's not perfect, and it's been led by men like throughout all of history, and look where it's gone.
Can't argue with that.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Masculinity is disappearing in America.
Huh.
I think that masculinity is disappearing. I think that it's a concerted effort to emasculate men. I think that some people feel threatened by masculinity and the typical way that men carry themselves, leading families and different things like that. So I think that there's an effort to mitigate strong men in America.
There's a few different ways to think about masculinity, but just looking at kind of the definition of the term 50 years ago, you had people like John Wayne, you had Martin Luther King, you had Sean Connery. You think of like masculine features as in beards, hairy chest, big muscles, think stoic, being brave, being rugged, being a provider. Today you have people like Harry Styles and Timothy Chalamet. You have people that are completely contrary to what we were looking at back then, and those values of those masculine characteristics are completely devalued.
I do believe that.
But I mean, like, that happens all the time, though, like, right? Like,
Yeah.
this stuff, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
It's kind of
because
just evolution, isn't it? It's just things are constantly changing, though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. In
Yeah.
30, 40 years, it might flip and toxic masculinity might be back in play constantly. We don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, aside from anything else, I mean, like, these things change, like, all the time. Like, like, a decade or so ago, you were risking kind of being called, names, beaten up, harassed, etc.,
Killed.
if killed.
Yeah.
if you were gay. But then, you know, I mean, like, even look at that now and how much more accepted it is. But then kind of look back to even like the ancient Romans, where you were only considered gay if you got fucked and not were fucking. So
right,
you know, I mean, like,
it was okay to be a top, not a bottom. Exactly.
These things change all the time, and it's not, you know, like, so I just don't really kind of see like what, like, he has a, like, he's technically correct in what he's saying. Yes, is that masculinity has changed, but he's framing it as a negative, and I just don't see it as a negative. Maybe I'm wrong or alone in that observation, but
well, I don't see it as a negative because I've been on both sides of the stick, and I've been harassed and raped and everything by guys, and now I'm on the other side of the stick, and now I have to watch what I say because I'm seen as a guy. So it makes it very interesting every day of my life. It's like a constant lesson for me.
Yeah,
really, it's humbling because it's a constant lesson for me about what it's like to talk to a woman from a man's perspective and from a woman's perspective. It's a whole different ball of wax. I can't say half the things I used to say. It's considered insulting because I am no longer identified as female. So I have to change everything to accommodate. So, yeah. But anyways,
when I just from the 45 seconds we've listened to so far, my first thought is
exactly. Yeah, it's just like, because so what? Because exactly. You know, like, that has changed, yes, but like, so has pretty much everything from the time that these people lived in, you know what I mean? Like, from the types of people that they have specifically referenced, it's like, you know, they would have been kind of growing up in a time where, you know, gay people didn't have rights, where black people didn't have civil rights, where women maybe didn't have the right to vote, depending on how kind of far back in time you're going. But looking at all those stuff and how that's changed, it's all for the better. I'm not necessarily even saying that this is for the better, but it's just not a negative.
Yeah, right. It's interesting because it's like you hear, I should almost put a timer on to see if anybody here references the quote unquote good old days. Because I remember hearing this from my dad growing up, and now that I'm just over 50, I look at it, it's like, what the hell's so good about the good old days? Like, do you mean when women couldn't obtain credit in their own name?
Yeah.
You know, when they had to get their husband to co-sign for something. You know, when the glass ceiling was on the first floor for women, when it came to careers and stuff like that. When you know, like we have there's a it's called the Village in Toronto, where there's a large LGBT community. And it doesn't happen as much now, but when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, you would hear about the weekly stories of the guys going down in their trucks with dozens of eggs and just, you know, egging people, you know, down Parliament Street in downtown Toronto. And it's just like, are those the good old days you're talking about? That you want to, like, because if those are the good old days, fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, like what? The good old days when people were free to run around in white masks and costumes and hang whoever they wanted. Because I'm not about that.
Yeah.
I'm good without those good old days. I'm good without the repression and the oppression. And I'm good without women being treated like pieces of meat. And I'm good without BIPOCs being treated like shit and killed just because they blinked in someone's direction. I mean, if that's what they want to go back to, fuck you.
Yeah, it's funny. My wife shared a meme not too long ago on social media. It was very, very simple. It's like, equal rights doesn't mean less rights for you. It's not pie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what we keep telling. How is anybody infringing on your rights?
Yeah.
Nobody is. You still have them, you douchebag.
Yeah.
The problem is they don't want anybody else to have them because it's white privilege. It's what it is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and it's funny. I've talked about this a lot. Like, there's only one piece of the privilege pie that I wasn't born with, and that's being wealthy. Like, because we were poor when I was growing up.
Oh yeah, me too. Dirt.
But straight, white, cisgender male, like, you know, everything else.
Yeah.
And now I have, I'm not rich by any stretch, but we live exceedingly, very, very comfortably. And so I now have all of the pieces of the pie.
Yeah.
Right? And so I guess I can look at this from that side, maybe not as narrow-minded as some of these people are already seeming to be after 45 seconds.
Yeah.
We'll have another
Masculinity
listen.
is going downhill, especially if you look at like the testosterone levels. Now the testosterone levels for guys is going down compared to generations before us. So yeah, I agree. Hi, I'm Gilbert. I'm 24 years old and I'm a conservative man. With my beliefs and having a trans man as my friend, we don't really talk about politics. Someone being trans doesn't make me like them any less of a person. As far as pronouns, when referring to my friend, I don't really use the pronouns that my friend would want. I just say my friend or I say their name, just because I feel like I'm giving into the narrative that men can be women and women can be men if I use the pronouns.
You still are, you douchebag.
Oh, so you're just an asshole. You're just an inconsiderate fuck.
Yeah, he's an inconsiderate fuck.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, this whole thing about pronouns. I mean, oh god, I can't think of a comedian's name. But like no, I said comedian.
No. This makes me think of Jordan.
Oh,
Peterson.
it makes you think of Jordan Peterson.
Oh.
I just heard the name. I was just like, wait, like what?
No.
He says funny shit, but not on purpose.
Well, yeah, he says funny stuff ironically. Yeah, I can't think of his name, but like he summed up my kind of attitudes towards pronouns like perfectly. He said something about gender, like, and when he says gender, he says he's referencing the 2 of the now 100 that now exist. And he said, do I or like that it is no time out of his day, to call you by your pronouns. He will call you zippity zimzer if you ask him to. Does he think it's a little silly? Yes, but so is badminton, and that's an Olympic sport. And look, I personally, some of them, that's just my personal view. I do think if you want to be called Zim or Zer, I do personally think that's a little silly. Will I do it? Absolutely yes. Because
I think I'm trans and I think it's kind of silly that some of them go so far. You know? Yeah. But if that's what the person wants, fine. That's their choice.
Yeah. It's no time or effort or hardship on me or on my life to call you by the pronoun that you feel the most comfortable with. That's it. It's just as simple as that.
I fuck up a lot when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And I do my best. I'm sorry, and I try to do better. But it can be like I guess from my generation, like as a Gen Xer, it can be confusing sometimes. That there are so many. Like I only heard of Z and Zer a very short time ago, like less than 6 months ago.
Okay.
And even I was kind of like,
it was like 9 or 10 months ago for me, a little less than a year. I didn't even know it existed.
I was really ignorant of it, and I was like, what? And somebody took some time to explain it to me. I'm like, okay, there's another one I'm probably gonna fuck up. Please be patient with me. Yeah,
exactly. And it's unfortunate, I mean, like, it's kind of like a heavy toll that we're kind of asking some people to kind of be understanding about, or to be kind of patient with, that like there are some of us out there who want to be respectful and want to call you by your preferred pronoun. But, as Michael just said, sometimes I've done it as well. Sometimes we fuck it up, you've just, like, if it's consistent and if it comes across as if I'm doing it on purpose, then yeah, abso-fucking-lutely call me out. But, like, I've done it, like, I've called someone by the wrong pronoun and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm really, really sorry, and then kind of corrected myself. But, that happens. But,
the bottom line is if the fact that you're giving the effort and you're admitting that you oopsed.
Yeah.
And you're trying again. That person's not going to be mad at you because you're putting in the effort. Now, if you do it for 9 months and you keep saying, sorry, I forgot, they're going to be like, you know what? Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, that's disrespectful. But You know, you do it for a few months. We all have to adjust. It's just like with my brother. He kept using my dead name, and people are like, "Oh, you know," and he's like, "Yeah, I know. That's my brother. I know he transitioned."
Yeah.
It's just that I've been calling him that for 50 effing years. You gotta
Yeah, exactly.
And it depends on how when you meet someone, you know. I don't have any trouble with student Dr. Ben because I met him as student Dr. Ben. And that's when we became friends. So I don't have to try to get rid of that dead name in my head, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, like I met you as B originally, but you know, now that it's Uncle Beck, it's like it's not, you know, it's not too far away from B. So it's just kind of second nature for me to say B or Beck to you. But yeah, it's just I don't know.
No, that's funny you say that though. It's funny you say that though, very specifically, Stephen, because I'm meeting Uncle Beck for the first time. So if I were to fuck it up the next time, then you would know that that's insincerity.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, because you met me this way. Right. Yeah, Stephen, I've known Stephen almost as long as I've known Math Big. It's been almost 3 years now since I met Stephen. He's one of the guys I've known the longest on the internet, honestly. So, yeah.
I can only apologize.
Oh, shut up, man. You're great. I always appreciate you.
I
think I'd take time out on my days off to hang out with somebody I didn't like?
I mean, true.
Not really.
Just for
I'm an asshole. I'm not going to do that.
I'll say it again because I got talked over, but I like Kevin more.
I mean, understandable. He is more obviously balding than I am, and he also wears glasses, so you know there's some familiarity there.
Which Kevin?
My co-host.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I rarely see him. I forgot he existed.
True. Yeah, no. I fucking rarely forgot he existed, even though until today I was talking to him for about an hour. I hadn't talked to him for weeks, so it's just
I forgot he existed too, and he's my co-host.
Yeah. Someone I've known for literally half my fucking life.
Anyways, go ahead. I've totally.
No. You're all good.
You see that masculinity is under attack completely, but my definition of masculinity, like you said, has a lot to do with the traits that are associated with it. As a gay man, I mean, of all of us, you know, I mean, I'm not the most masculine man, but I do think that the good aspects of masculinity are definitely under attack, but I don't think that it's disappearing. It's just being channeled in different ways.
It depends on how you look at it, because a lot of the traits can also be embodied in women and femininity. So when we look at masculinity, I think that we have to also look at what is the actual definition of femininity and masculinity. And if we're defining masculinity by being stoic or muscles or body parts, then is it really masculinity?
A lot of times when you guys spoke about masculinity, you associate it with men being manly, but I think more women are embracing their masculinity. Masculinity is still there. I mean, just other genders are using it. Being courageous, being powerful, more women are standing in their power, which is again associated with masculine, but it's not specific to just men. Women are no longer submissive, they're dominant. Women don't need men, and I think that most of America is realizing that anyone can be powerful on their own.
I believe that the masculine traits are inherently in men, and men have to take a position. You made a really good point by saying women are now becoming more masculine. They feel as if they don't need men, which I think is the problem here. I think that the way we've been designed by God, in my opinion, is that men are to lead, men are to be strong, men are to be brave. Men have to take their rightful position. The way our country has been structured to this point have been because of strong men who have taken a stand, who have fought wars. Now I feel like it's getting so lopsided that our families are degrading. People don't know where they're at in this
Can I just say real quick and point out that he's a Christian?
Well, and yeah, like you had me right up until then, right? You know, it's like, and God, and like, okay. Well,
yeah,
because that explains a lot, right? 2 Timothy 2:12, all these other verses, you know, that are just, you know, so misogynistic and horrible. It's like, yeah, that. So I am now totally unsurprised by anything else he's going to say.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm just kind of looking like at the trans guys, like over on this side. I mean, like this guy in particular, right? He has a nicer beard than both me and Michael. And yet there are conservatives who would insist once they find out he is trans by calling her, you know, Miss or she and her.
Yeah.
You're
And it's
always
like,
gonna be
I'm
a
so
woman.
like, I'm so sorry. Like there has to be something. I don't know whether it's like a visual problem with you, but there has to be something not quite right here for you to look at that or even I'll use Beck because he's right there, to look at Beck and go, that right there is a woman. I mean, I'm sorry. You look, present, act, speak, everything masculine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and apparently I did before too. It's just my voice wasn't this deep because
Yeah.
there was a bunch of people when I came out as being trans that came to me from YouTube and said, I thought you were a guy for the first 3 months I knew you.
Yeah.
And then I heard you say you were a lesbian and I went, oh, that's a chick.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like that. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just
and you know, the other thing you have to think about too with most these trans guys, they've been trans for a while. You don't get all that change of the shape of the face and the body hair and all that unless you've been on it for at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Or longer.
Yeah.
Much longer. So these guys have been, trans for a long time. They probably all have their surgeries done. When they do your bottom surgery, they remove everything female.
Mm-hmm.
They pull it all out. So
Yeah.
no, you're not a woman anymore.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
They take everything out, they give you fake testes, and they make you a penis. So there's no female left there. Literally nothing except for I was born female.
Yeah.
So how can you tell me? And you know, sometimes Steve and I just joke and say they're jealous because we get to pick our own dick. But anyway,
I mean, you kind of do though, right? Because one of the people,
pick size, girth, general, they're gonna give you like a range. Sure.
Yeah. Like you get like, you know, like I'm assuming, I don't know this for 100%, but I'm assuming like a 3D mock-up of what it's gonna be like. But again, you get to pick how fucking thick your dick is. You get to pick how long it is.
Yeah.
You can literally.
They also base it on how much skin you have on your arm because that's where they take the skin from to create it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I had a similar experience with she's kind of disappeared now a little bit, but Stephanie Gunnarimson, who she worked for the Richard Dawkins Foundation for quite some time, and trans woman, and I met her at a conference up here in. She used to go. She was a guest speaker on Dogma Debate for a long time with David Smalley.
Okay.
And then she was doing the conference. She came to Toronto, and I met her. And I was like, you can look her up on Facebook. She's pretty open. And I was just like, I was gobsmacked. Beautiful, beautiful woman. And I'm like, you're trans? And I was just gobsmacked. No idea.
Yeah.
Just.
Oh, I'm telling you know what I said last night, Michael, and this is absolutely the truth. Every time I see a, oh my God, hot chick on pornography, I wonder if they're trans because those are the hottest women in pornography. I mean, oh my God, I saw this woman on a porn and I was like, oh my God, she's smoking hot. She has a penis still. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was trans, you know, and it was weirdly still hot because she just looks so fucking good. But no, seriously, like people want to judge. They want to judge. I've seen cishet guys that look like they're trans. Because they just don't grow facial hair and stuff.
Well,
it's just genetically not there for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like there are people like I think about Keanu Reeves who can't grow a beard to save his life. He should just give up.
Yeah.
It's bad. Just
like
bad.
His is worse than mine right now.
He should just stop.
He should stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should just stop. I mean, like Steve, Steven's beard is by far the most like much. I keep mine trimmed very short. But Steven's got he's got a full on way better beard. It won't look nearly as good when he gets old and it turns gray. But yeah.
Shh, don't tell him.
It's gonna happen, friend. Sorry.
I'm aware.
We don't. If you hit the play, we're never gonna finish this.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah,
we're gonna talk through the whole thing. Go ahead. Michael's right.
2022, masculinity is being redefined. And I think what happens is people get upset when things start to change. No, I think that nobody ever wants to take that away from men. I think that what we want to do in the world now is start to understand what is masculinity. And it's always been really associated with this very machismo space. And now there's different kinds of men in the world. There's not just biological men. There's also trans men or people who want to be masculine. So I think what's happening now is people are pushing against change because change is scary and people don't understand. And so I think men, biological men, feel under attack when I think that's not what's happening here.
The point that you made is 100% correct. There are different phases and people are experiencing in different ways. The feminist movement is, I think they are attacking masculinity within men. I don't want a man to open the door for me. I don't need a man in my life. I can do all of these different things. What they're doing is attacking men, and that's what's causing the problem.
What part of the feminist group feels like it's attacking? Because I know that most feminism is like wanting equal pay or...
Well, you just said that women not needing men is somehow empowering. You know, having a man is somehow less empowering, or being an individual is somehow less empowering.
But that's how women feel.
Right.
Women actually are saying that because that's how they feel. It's as
But
if,
that's not how every woman feels.
but
That-
no one's
that's just
saying
an
every woman.
assumption
They're only
of how
women speak for themselves. So
Right.
all of you are going to have different opinions as biological men.
Absolutely.
Women all have different opinions. Oh, you see a very specific group of women saying this.
I mean, you did just say that's how women feel. So are you speaking on behalf of all
No,
women?
no, I'm not. Let me take that back. The women who are saying that feel that way.
Why do you feel that women in general feel disempowered?
No, I don't think in general. No. That's a generalized statement. You can't say that. I said
you're
the
the one
women. No, I
who
did
said
not. I
women
said the
feel
women who
disempowered.
say that.
You associated somehow women are now embracing masculinity, which means that they are now more empowered because they don't need a man.
need a man,
Or
right.
if
When
they're
men feel empowered when women need
But
them.
I don't think that women's empowerment comes from having a man or not having a man. So why is it always associated that a woman's now empowered because she doesn't need a man? A woman has always been empowered. Women have never been.
But they've never felt
That's
that.
not true.
I mean,
That's
if
not
we go
true.
back to the
Yeah.
That is so
Too
that's
young,
not,
gay man.
yeah.
Be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Women have always
Too
been
young.
empowered. Yeah. Go to Afghanistan and tell a woman she's empowered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and watch her shoot your ass with the AR-17 she got from her husband or
Yeah.
boyfriend, or she's
Yeah.
always had it.
I get a lot, and I don't mean to necessarily throw the religious slant on it, but it's like people say, women who choose to wear a hijab or a niqab or whatever it is they choose to wear. I think you may be able to make the statement in some cases in North America where that is true. A woman in the Middle East is not dressing like that by choice. And if she says she is, she's lying. I'm sorry. And I can't say that with certainty, but that is a very strong opinion that I have. Like I said, if you want to feel empowered, you go to that woman in Afghanistan, for example, and say, you're telling me you're empowered? Fine, take it off. Just take it off right here. No, she won't do that. And
Well, hell no, though. She'll get killed.
yeah, and if she started to prove it, I would try to stop her because I wouldn't want her to get killed either. But it's
Right.
it is just this this man Clarkson's statement is simply ignorant of the facts.
I agree. I think he's either not around different areas enough, and he's stuck to wherever he lives and hasn't experienced other shit, or he's younger than I think and he just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But he's also a cis man in a gay man world, so probably has very little contact with women's issues.
Yeah.
He probably should be keeping his mouth shut right now because he doesn't date or marry them, and he's not one. But
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's this kind of like extreme of like toxic masculinity, I guess. I mean, like, they're kind of more accurately defined than that. Incels is what I'm talking about. Where they'll say, that like their kind of dream ideal paradise is for women to be pregnant and barefoot and, stay at home and mind the kids and do the dishes and like have all the food cooked, etc., etc., etc. It's like, look, if you were a woman who, wants that as your life, absolutely, you go for it, right? Absolutely.
And there are women out there that want that.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Exactly.
is what
There
they
are.
want to do. They want to be in the kitchen and having babies and let the husband go work. And
Yeah,
dad take care of
absolutely, absolutely. And
plenty of them. You just have to find that person.
Yeah, and
That's what you want.
there's nothing inherently wrong about that, but
no,
it's like trying to say that like no, this is how it should be, or this is the, you know what I mean, that like this is the way it needs to be. It's like, you know, that life is for some women, but it's not for all women, and you know,
What Buck
trying
said.
yeah.
Yeah, that some want it and some don't. Like it speaks directly to what it was that he said. And then they tried to kind of like he misspoke a little bit, and they're trying to hold him to that misstatement. No, you said.
Oh, yeah.
He had to correct himself like three. He had to like reassert his actual feelings. Like
yeah, no, I corrected it. I said
to get it across, and it's weird like that, but it yeah, like I prefer. I remember saying once I was on Clubhouse and I was in a Christian chat room, because I'm a masochist, and
sorry,
this whole thing about about a woman's place came up, and they were referencing some Bible verses and stuff like that, and then I was very quiet, and one of the mods said, Michael, do you have anything to say to this? And all I said was very simply, I said, I prefer the company of equals, and the room went dead silent, and the first thing that was said was essentially, not in these words, but basically, you're not a real man either.
Yeah, but it's like, look at, like like that's kind of what feminism was kind of like initially for, right? Is to kind of say, like, as Julie has said in the chat, it's that her sister is a homemaker, she's not. What matters is that we had the choice. That's it. That's what feminism was originally coined for, was to be like,
right, exactly.
Is about the choice of being able to do one or the other. It's not about being forced to do one. It's not about being forced to do a different one. It's just about having the choice. But I mean, people who unironically, say that like a woman's place is in the kitchen. I mean, like, you just know that the only vagina they've ever touched was their mother's on the way out,
on the exit,
and not a single one since. It's irresponsible to say that these people's opinions don't matter, but it's equally irresponsible to kind of just ignore them and just to kind of leave them off in their little corner and pretend like that they don't exist, because that's also equally dangerous.
Right. I would say that I would agree with you, but I would go as far as to say I think they matter a little less. And it's funny, like, people will talk to me and when I describe our home life, like I do more cooking at home than my wife does. And we say, well, why? I'm like, because I have more time than she does. And it would be a dick move for me to sit home, and then when she comes home saying, what are we having for dinner? Like, that's a dick move. If I have more time, and so we share things, right? I've described it like this. Like, so there's a list of stuff on the, there's a notepad on the fridge of all the stuff that has to get done during the week. Let's say there's 15 things. Some weeks I do 12. Some weeks I do 4. It doesn't matter as long as all the stuff on the list gets checked off.
Exactly.
Who gives a shit? Does it?
Yeah.
Well, that's woman's work. No.
Yeah. It's just, it's like, I mean, I have 2 housemates, right? One of them is male and one of them is female, right? Literally only a couple of days ago. Is everybody still there? I just oh, Jesus Christ, okay. No, it was. It's just, Michael, you were just frozen in space, and I just could not. I was just like, oh shit, as my internet crapped out, are we frozen? We're still here. We're still live. We're good. We're all alive.
Just to mess you up, every once in a while, I'll just do this. Just to mess you up.
But, where was I going? Yes, 2 housemates. I don't remember where. I think it's okay to kind of say her name, because the other video that I have scheduled that's coming up is an abortion debate. It's a tag team, and it's going to be me and my housemate Becca, who against Ken and Farr and Kay Fellows. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a very nice conversation, very chilled out conversation. The 2 of them are more than capable of doing that, but it's a hot button issue. So anyway,
Are you doing it on? Are you doing with James?
No, just on my channel. I'm I'm steering clear of James's channel for a number of kind of smaller reasons, but one very, very big reason. Not too long ago, as in literally less than a month ago, he platformed Richard Spencer, and I'm just like, you know what? I get you want views, I get you want whatever, but too far for me. I'm sorry, I can't. Anyway, I don't remember where she was, or like what she was doing or anything else like that, but she wasn't in the house, and me and my other housemate went around. We cleaned the living room, we cleaned the kitchen, we hoovered, we mopped the floors, we did all that stuff that is kind of, you know, typically attributed to, you know, women's work, as you had said, Michael. But it's just, it needed to be done. You know, the house was a little bit messy. We hadn't cleaned up in a few days. You know, we were all in work. We were all doing this, that, the other. It needed to get done. You know what I mean? We're not going to wait for her to come back because she's. It's stupid. You know, it's just basic. Just you keep the house, clean.
And there will be people that will look at that and they'll label it whatever it is they want to label it. And and when I've had this conversation with other people, I'm like, listen, don't take it the wrong way. Like, I'm no hero. You know, like, and I'll say, like, I don't clean our house. And then they'll say, what do you mean? You get your wife to? I'm like, no, we have a housekeeper. Like,
because neither one of us want to clean it.
Neither one of us want to clean the house. So we pay
if you have the money to pay somebody because you don't want to do it, fucking pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah, and so it's funny just to kind of jolt them back in a little bit. It's like, oh, aha, but but you'll say this on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like, no, neither one of us do it. You know, and when the company comes in, you know, that does the cleaning, sometimes it's a guy, sometimes it's a girl, and I don't give a fuck because our house is clean.
Your house is clean and that person's employed, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go listen to the next dumb thing Clarkson's about to say.
Yeah, let's go on with this, Stephen, because we're going to
1920s if you're going to do that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about society right now.
Right now, you actually think women are empowered right now?
Absolutely, women are empowered.
He's the vice president.
And how long did it take for her to become a vice president, though?
There is a right and wrong way to be a man. Take a second to think about it.
I think that when I originally heard the question being asked, I didn't agree with it, but men are not abusive individuals. Men are not to be cowards. Men are to lead their families. And men who do not display that, I don't believe that they are men, in my opinion. And all of the qualities that I see in my father is what I believe a man should be.
All of those characteristics are what make a man. And when I see a man be a coward in the truth, in just speaking the truth, or sticking up for what's right, especially
he's a Christian.
In America with everything going on, I'm like, those are not men. My name is Clarkson. I'm 24 years old, and I'm a conservative man. My side really is, are you happy? Anybody that wants to fundamentally change society and change gender roles, to me, that's not happiness. And if we want to fight for acceptance, we need to start with acceptance, which is accepting society for what it is.
What?
I mean,
accept society for what it is. And now, where Clarkson can walk down the street. But 70, 80 years ago, would we have wanted to accept society then, when Clarkson couldn't walk down the street?
Let's go to 40 or 50 years ago.
Yeah,
wasn't that long ago.
I was But when he wouldn't be able to walk down the street with his husband or boyfriend? I don't think so, right?
Right.
So he's talking from this, it's like everything's cool for him now. So let's insert the pin here, and we'll move forward from here. That's dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't really think that there's anything else to kind of add there, not specifically. So, we'll
at the end of the day, we're all men.
I don't know how much more of this I can tolerate. I'm not going to lie to you. That, and we're coming up on an hour, and we have so much to talk about. So,
are we really coming up on an hour?
48 minutes. 48 minutes we've been live
shit.
for. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to let this run a little bit so we can catch up. And
I'm really curious to hear what somebody says.
Any wrong way to be a man. We're just redefining what it means to be a man.
But there are things that naturally come to men. So when you say we're just redefining what being a man is, you have to understand you're redefining a fabric in society that has kept the human race and got it to where it is today. So just like aimlessly throwing out, we're just redefining what it is to be a man. that's not just like a light subject that we should be talking about.
But why do you think they have to stay the same? Why do we need to have the same thing for hundreds and hundreds of years?
Do you not see the state
It's not the same
of,
thing. It's just, it's
said.
keeping the same qualities.
But do you see the state of our world today? It's not perfect. It's been led by men like throughout all of history, and look where it's gone.
So, we're talking about redesigning what it means to be a man. So, what do you want to bring to traditional men?
I think it's embracing that you can be vulnerable. I think that a lot of men want to portray strength, but men are people, and I know that men have feelings.
Being a man and masculinity, those are two different things. And I believe that we can redefine whatever that means to anybody by including other types of men or other types of masculinity. I myself am a father, I have a child. Some people would disagree with me being a father because I am transgender. But that being said, I present to the world as male, my child sees me as a man.
There's proper ways to be vulnerable, right? You don't have to break down in front of your family and cry. It's okay to suffer in silence as well. Strong men, I believe, exude the qualities that you guys are referring to. I think the problem is overcorrection, right? Some people believe that men need to cry and lay on the ground and be feminine like women.
It takes way more strength to show your vulnerability. It doesn't take any guts to bury everything inside and put on a happy face. It takes cowardly to show your vulnerability.
Yeah,
I looked at both my parents. I looked at my dad as a cautionary tale, because he was born in the Great Depression. He didn't understand how to express his feelings, and he had his first heart attack when I was a year old. He was 41 years old because he kept everything bottled up inside and drank and all kinds of other stuff. And no. This guy is in the fucking galaxy of wrong as far as this goes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Your mic is getting a little bit janky again, Michael. I'm really sorry.
You mean as in spiky? What do you mean?
No, it's sort of like you were coming across as like a little bit muffled. We could understand what you were saying.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
My wife's home now. She's chewing up all the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but look, yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, look, I know people who unfortunately share the same opinion as he does. I don't know. Maybe it's because or like maybe it's a symptom of me being kind of, like quite like camp as well. That is kind of how I present in normal kind of day-to-day life. Like sometimes I'm just gonna fucking level with you guys. Sometimes I feel like I fucking need to have a little bit of a cry, or a little bit of a kind of like a showing of emotion, because it does get a little bit bottled up, and like eventually it's gonna fucking explode in one way or the other. And like some people kind of lash out in anger, some people lash out in sadness, or there's just a lot of really fucking negative side effects to kind of bottling things up. The idea that
they cheat on their wives because they need a release and they're trying to find something different. Lots of things.
The idea that like it should be kind of portrayed as a negative, that men are being encouraged to be emotional or to be vulnerable, I mean, to me is just ridiculous. It's something that is needed to be normalized a long time ago. I mean, I don't even know.
I think I'd be hard pressed to. I'm trying to think. Like, do I know any women who would view a man showing their vulnerability as a weakness? And I don't think I do. I know for sure my wife doesn't. I've been vulnerable with her. She's seen me cry lots, for different emotional situations. And I think it's healthy sometimes. Like Stephen, you just made reference to the fact sometimes you need to cry. Well, yeah. And there's all kinds of, like, I'm not a doctor. There's all kinds of like hormones and shit that get released when you do that. And I think there's a reason why you feel better when you're finished.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because you got it out of you quote unquote got it out of your system.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see the downside there.
Yeah. I don't see the downside there at all either. Yeah, I don't know. We'll continue, but I don't know. I don't know how much more, but we'll burst on for now.
My name is Brandon. I'm 34 years old, and I'm a conservative man. I had a lot of curiosities about what it's like to be a person who believes that they're a trans man. You know, I feel like God has created all of us very uniquely, and although I have beliefs and I follow the Bible to the T, I still want to know from other people.
He follows the Bible to the T. I wonder how many slaves he has.
Oh!
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
he said it, not me.
Of what their
yeah. I
experiences
wonder
are.
yeah.
Doesn't mean I have to agree, but I really want to know what other people are feeling from the person who's experiencing it real time.
I have male privilege.
All of you better walk over. All of you.
Oh, sit over.
I've lived both lives, and I can tell you firsthand that it does exist. I am taken much more seriously in my career since I've transitioned as a man. Prior to transitioning, I would work just as hard, if not harder, for the same position and not be considered. The minute that I transition, I am immediately taken more seriously. I can give you an example. Obviously with COVID, there's like the mask mandate, right? So I have to tell customers all the time, it needs to be above your nose, right? I do that all day. My manager who's above me, who is a woman, will have to go to them, tell them they give her a fight. But the minute I just look in their direction, it's up. It doesn't seem like a privilege, but it is, because now my manager has to work 3 times harder for something that's so simple.
I think the word privilege is the thing that turns a lot of people off with this conversation. But that being said, again, myself living my life as a female, pretty much half my life, and then now half my life as a man, there is no way I could not be honest about the fact that my life has changed drastically. Also being a white man, that's also a conversation a lot of people don't want to have. But I have privilege of being white and privilege also of being a man now. I can walk into any room and command that room in a heartbeat because people just do that with men. And I think the thing is that biological men are born into that space, so they'll never ever see it. Why do we now, as women who have become men, get to have this thing? It's 100% because we are men. We look like men. Nobody would ever know. No one would ever know that we used to be women. So it's actually a real lived experience.
So I agree.
I was
with
just
a lot of what
talking
you all
about
were saying
this
as far as like
today and a couple
transitioning.
days ago on a live stream. I was just talking about how different it is when I'm in line at a grocery store, how different it is when I walk in the door of establishment. It used to be, oh, welcome. And now it's welcome, sir. Would you, oh, you can go in front of me, sir. I'm not in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's all the time like that. Guys are holding doors for me. Big, tall, manly guys who never would have fucking held a door for a woman.
Yeah.
And it's just bizarre how much my life has done a 180 when it comes to society.
Yeah, I
It's
mean
totally
the whole
different
kind of
now.
like opening doors for people and stuff like that. I mean, like I've done that just for everybody.
Yeah,
like
just try
for
to-
you, you know what I mean? Like
that's been my whole life. I've always held doors.
yeah, like you know, like if I'm going into like a shop or whatever, and you know I'm going out and there's someone coming in, like if I go out, I'll just hold the door open for him. You know, it's nice.
It's
you
just
know,
courtesy.
yeah, exactly. It's not.
You
it's
already
not-
have it in your hand.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. You know, it shouldn't necessarily be like a, you know, male-female chivalry thing. It shouldn't even necessarily be that. It's just fucking.
It should be you're a human being.
Yeah.
I will hold the door for you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like you're going in there. You're going to be opening the door yourself anyway. Even if I do let it go and walk on with my day, I'm like, okay, if I'm taking 5 extra seconds out of my life. So hold the door open for someone. Just hold the fucking door open, you know. Like, but I mean,
I'm not that important. I can spare 5 seconds.
yeah, exactly. You know, but I will say though, there's kind of almost like a privilege that I've kind of noticed that I have now that I haven't always had, which is so there's this kind of status, or there's this sort of different approach or different attitudes that people will give you if you kind of appear to be, you know, dressed very, very well, right? So I had made reference in the last stream, I've changed jobs yet again. I am the assistant manager in a cinema now. And because of that, it's business attire is what I have to wear, right? So I'm going to work in like, you know, suit, pants, tie, sometimes like
dress shirt.
Yeah. Sometimes like a long kind of like a thinner kind of coat. Sometimes it's just a full suit. I'm in a blazer and whatever. The amount of kind of, and just in that, the difference of treatment that I didn't expect, but you do see it. You know what I mean? Like, as I had just said, if I'm in a shop and I kind of turn a corner and I don't see somebody there, people will kind of say like, "Oh, sorry," much more kind of readily than if I'm wearing what I'm wearing right now, which is a t-shirt
and jeans or something. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's all of these kind of implicit things that, like, you know, like if you bump into somebody when you turn a corner, or like when you like do whatever, just say fucking sorry to them. You know, like it's. Yeah. For me, it's an impulse reaction, you know? Like, I said sorry, to that person as well, but it's just the same sort of thing. Like, I don't care if you're wearing what I'm wearing now, t-shirt and sweats, or a fucking full suit. If we're walking in, I'll hold the door open for you. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't kind of
No,
do
but
it
you're
that
right.
way,
That's how society is.
Yeah.
I walked into a Best Buy. I was a truck driver. This was in, I think like 2009, 10. And I was going in to buy, it was 2007. I was going to buy my first smartphone. And I went into Best Buy to buy one. And I had a pocket full of fucking cash. And I was making good money at that point. And I walked in there in my grungy truck driving clothes with grease stains on my hands. They didn't want to fucking help me. Because back then they worked on commission. Nobody wanted to help me. So finally, after wandering around the store and asking for help for 30 fucking minutes, I caught the guy that came back to the phone department where he kept telling me he was busy earlier. He came back to the phone department and I walked up to him and I said, "Do you think I can get some help now?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'll be with you in a minute." I said, "I've been waiting 30 minutes. And he goes, "Oh, have you?" And I pulled the wad of money out of my pocket and I said, "You just fucked up." And I stuck it in my pocket and I walked out the door. And that's the thing is people judge you. It's always judgment by looks. It's always judgment by looks. And I've gotten it used to be if you come around an aisle and two people bump into each other. "Oh, excuse me, you know?"
Yeah.
And now I say, "Excuse me," and I get, "Excuse me, sir." All the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a big flip. It's a big flip. But like but there's also the negative side of it too, because I have women now who, instead of walking by me in public, walk around me because I'm a white man. Yeah.
Like I do kind of something, well, not similar, but like kind of. It's a colloquialism here where I'm from, and I know that it is in part of the States as well. But you know, if you're going past two aisles and you bump into someone, if they kind of present as female, I'll just be like, "Oh, sorry, hon," right? It's like what, like it's just what I call everybody.
I know I got in trouble doing it.
And
sweetheart.
Well, yeah, and if it's a guy, it's son. Just oh, sorry, son. Like that's kind of how it is. But it's just I'll say one or either of those. Like, I'm not going to say nothing if it's a woman and say sorry, sir, or like anything. It's just all of this stuff is just like, it's not that it's silly because it does happen, but it's just, I don't know, like it's just equal respect for everybody. Like I'm not going to do something like as minute as that to kind of not equally treat a woman if I'm going to say the same thing to a guy. To me, it's just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that just seems like, Stephen, that just seems like a thing that's said in, in your society. Like there are places, it's like it's like in North America, the word, cunt is looked at very, very badly, but I've you go to the place in the British Isles and stuff like that. "Oh yeah, he's a good cunt," stuff like that. Like, it's
like their buddy, their pal.
Yeah.
Right? And so like I get that though. It's like the whole the honest stuff like that. We see it a lot in the service industry, right? That is largely, at least where I am, largely females, right? And then I'll be right with you, sweetie. I'll be right with you, hun, stuff like that. And it's just but it's interesting that you say that, because it's kind of keyed me into the realization that I don't give it a second thought.
Yeah. I don't care either, because I know who I am. and I'm comfortable with myself. And I think the people that have the biggest problems with it are not like that. I think that's why they get so offended. You know, I think they have some kind of issue with their own self.
Yeah.
And it's just projecting out when you say it.
Anyways,
we should let the video go.
Yeah, look, oh God, I don't know if I'm able. No, I'm just looking. We've been going for an hour. I kind of planned on doing this for about 3 hours. You guys don't have to stick around for the entire thing, but that's what I planned anyway.
I could stay around a little longer if Michael needs to leave. I can stay.
I can give you another half hour, 45 minutes.
Cool.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
let's go a little.
Well,
longer.
look, okay. Considering that is the state of affairs, then, I'm going to jump forward onto the most recent bit of news. Probably know what I'm talking about. Michael, you were in several clubhouses talking about this very issue today. I was there with you. It was a good time. But yeah, so a week and a half ago, someone in went into Buffalo. Where was the Buffalo shooting? What state was that in?
It was at a Tops Friendly Market in Buffalo, New York. Yeah.
New York, yeah.
Oh, New York. Okay.
Where someone drove. I think it was either 200 miles or 200 kilometers. I'm not sure which.
4 hours.
4 hours. Yeah, 4 hours.
About 200 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had apparently researched it and had kind of pinpointed where a certain racial group are most likely to shop in this one place. He went in there, he shot a bunch of people. So no, he literally did his fucking research on it, as in going okay, this block of houses over here and this block over here, they're all predominantly black people, and this shopping center is the closest one, so bing bang boom, 1 + 1 = 4. We're gonna go over here. Yeah, so that's what he did.
Yeah. He had apparently there was a whole manifesto he had on
106-page manifesto. 106-page manifesto. Yeah. He was an avid white supremacist. He peddled the Great Replacement theory. He was a neo-Nazi, essentially. So worst of the worst, scum of the scum. Yeah. He went in and he shot a bunch of people, right? And just as we had just as it had left our minds, just as it was not the news story of the past couple of days, literally yesterday, somebody went into it's not what is it? What's the term?
Elementary school.
Elementary school. That's no, because
Uvalde, Texas. Yeah.
No, it's just because we call it primary school over here, and I knew that wasn't the term, and I just couldn't Americanize my language. Went into school, and he shot 14 elementary school children, and shot and killed one teacher.
Yep.
And I mean,
why? Do we know why?
As of yet, no. It is still very as I was kind of doing the preparations, or as I was saying that I was going to be talking about it, we weren't 100% sure if he had taken his own life or whether he had been shot by the authorities. It's 19 dead now. I want to point that out. It is 19 dead now. That is including
Christ.
The teacher. So it is now up to 18 children and one teacher.
Yeah, I think there was three or
cops shot him.
3 or 4 children succumbed to their injuries while in hospital.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, look, there's so much to kind of say here. I get that America culturally loves its guns. They're massive, kind of big into guns and stuff like that over there. But I mean, it's something that I think that Michael, me and you kind of both said earlier on Clubhouse, which is that this is a uniquely American problem.
Yeah.
A uniquely American problem. This just doesn't
absolutely
exist.
Is.
This doesn't exist in Ireland. It
nope.
just doesn't. You know, I think the last mass shooting here was in 1916 when we were fighting for our fucking freedom. You know,
yeah, no. I mean,
more realistically, it was the troubles in the 70s. But kind of, we'll say like from the 1990s, there hasn't been a single fucking mass shooting because we don't own them. Even the fucking police here don't own guns, right?
Yeah.
Now,
the last one in Canada that springs to mind is L'École Polytechnique in Montreal. That was in the 1990s, where it was a male gunman went into basically a girls' university, and it was all basically female engineering students, and he had a beef with women because how dare women get educated, and he killed them. And stuff like that, because that kind of thing. So what I'll say here that I wouldn't say in the Christian room we were in, Stephen, and I mean this with as much decency as I can say. Fuck your Second Amendment.
mm-hmm.
It doesn't make, and I think this is again where Stephen, where you're not on the same page. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't make it compute in my brain.
Yeah.
And one of the things somebody was talking about was, it's like, do you understand? I was in a different room afterwards, Stephen. I'm not sure if you were there. And guys were talking about, do you understand what it means to have this well-regulated militia, stuff like that? And I chimed in and I said, militia. I said, you got to be joking. I said, you can put every militia member in the entirety of the United States, all of them, and all of their guns and all of their flak jackets, and you have two or three Army Apache helicopters, and they'll blow you all up with missiles from 5 miles away.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but if you think you're overthrowing the government, you're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I can understand. I can understand. Sorry, I'm getting kind of distracted there by the chat. Someone says, if you hate the Second Amendment, then why don't you leave the country? I just can't understand. I just can't fathom enough the irony that you're saying that to so far a Canadian and an Irishman. But anyway,
and I will say that first of all, I don't think it should be illegal to own guns. They are too readily handed out in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
A. B. I don't have any problem with people owning guns that are fucking responsible with them. C. We need mental health shit connected to the fucking registry and stuff to sell guns. This is what's fucking happening. And D. The government's not trying to take the guns away from good people. They're trying to take them away from the psychos. So if you're a good person, you should have nothing to fucking worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's coming for your guns. It doesn't happen. Everybody was afraid of
E.
Yeah.
Just because there's small things about this country I don't like doesn't mean I'm not fucking patriotic and loyal to it. And I served in the Army. So if you have a problem with that, carry on to a different stream and suck my dick.
Yeah, I find the whole thing very interesting.
And I'm done with that.
Robin Williams said this very poignantly in one of the comedy skits from the 1980s, I think it was. He says he was making a joke about it, of course. It's like, the Constitution says, you have the right to, or the law says you have the right to have armor-piercing bullets. And he's like, why? How many deer wear a bulletproof vest? It's like, and Joe Biden actually said that in his speech last night, and I wondered if he was kind of taking it from Robin Williams. Of course, he wouldn't have given credit to Robin Williams, but it was very much of that same style. And it's absolutely true. You can have, like a handgun or something like that if you want home defense. You can have maybe like shotguns or some rifles if you hunt or something like that. But what's that one that kind of the super famous one? I don't even remember what it's called now that everybody has, the rifle.
AR-15?
Yeah, sure.
The AR-15s, yeah.
Right. That thing is designed to kill people. Sorry.
Yeah.
No one look. I'm gonna add to it real quick, Michael, and I'll let you continue. I'm sorry, but I'm
no, you're good.
I have to spit it out.
You're good.
F is this. If you can't protect your home with an 8-clip handgun, then just run. Because what you're going to do is you're going to spray your whole entire house, kill some neighbors, possibly kill people in your house, and the chance of you actually hitting the gunman is slim to fucking none without training. So unless you want to go through basic training or something, so you know how to use, and by the way, I was in supply. I got to touch every gun from the two-handed fucking 60 cal down to a fucking 9M. I've shot everything. So if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about with guns, you shouldn't be shooting them around your damn house anyways. You only need a handgun. If you can't do it in 6 shots, run and call 911.
Or move.
Because that motherfucker's going to kill you before you have a chance to shoot him. Because he's been holding a gun and shooting people his entire life because he's a criminal. You dumbasses.
And what's the I don't want to make up, 74.3% of all statistics are made up. But I read somewhere once that basically,
so are most of mine.
It's actually it's actually it is 69.420% of statistics are made up. Just wanted to
thank you
make
for
that slight
correction. But it's isn't it true? And I guess Becky, you'd have to be probably the one that would correct me. That
I don't know
that you are more likely to be killed by your own gun by an assailant than you are to actually kill the assailant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely the truth in the United States. Yes,
yeah.
That's what statistics show. It's a crazy high number, like 60 some odd. I want to say
percent.
I feel like yeah.
Ooh.
Like it's a ridiculously high number that could be the case. Because that's the thing is,
like so I don't know how to use my gun properly. So the guy that I was trying to stop from hurting me gets my gun and hurts me.
They will.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They will. They'll put their own gun away, wrestle yours out of your hand if they can't fucking shoot you, and they will fucking shoot you. They don't care.
Right.
Criminals don't care. If they're toting a gun, they're probably going to try to kill you.
Right.
Very few of them are fake. That's movie shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
There
are some stupid criminals out there.
It just doesn't happen here. There are millions of, like, I was looking this up actually, and I think last year, the best statistic I could find was 611 people in Canada in gun-related deaths. And I couldn't get more of a breakdown. So some of those were likely killed by law enforcement. Some of them may have been accidental. Some of them may have been death by suicide. Some of them, who knows, like what that number was. I can only find that raw number. And then the raw number in the U.S. was around 68,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, look, just to kind of echo something that Michael had said earlier, I mean, like, yeah, you can band together every single militia member, all the guns, all the ammo, all the everything. Like, I can see logically why, coming from where the founding fathers came from, that they wanted to put into the Constitution something to say that if the government got too tyrannical, that yes, you have a way, a means, and an opportunity to overthrow that government, right? I can logistically see where that came from. But today, do these people realize that the government has drones now? You're bringing guns to a drone fight. Like, yes. Half of you, even if you managed to kill the drones and there was nothing else, there was no Apache helicopters, there was nothing else like that, right? It was the drones and then the government. Even if half of you, half of you survived, that's still half of you before the actual conflict even begins. Like, you're fighting a losing battle. It is not going to happen. I get that it makes you feel better. I get that you have your guns because you're overcompensating because of your micro penis. But
yes,
look, it's just stupid to have convinced yourself that you're going to win the fight against the government when all you have is guns, and when they have the equipment that they have, you're never going to win. Never. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're not. And the bottom line is, these guys that want to have like AR-15s and M16s or whatever they're trying to get, that's an automatic fucking rifle. First of all, I think that because they all say, "Oh, it's just fun to shoot. I take it to the range." Fine. Then they should all be locked up in a range, and you have to pay for storage. Yeah. That way you don't have it at home. You said you don't use it at home for protection. Like, there's other laws we could instate. This and that can't be allowed to be kept in your home. You have to store it in this or that kind of facility. There's ways to trim the fat, so to speak. You know,
there are places.
That's the problem. Is these guys, they go out to the range, they shoot these guns, and then they feel overly confident with them. And that's shooting a gun is not training. Anybody can go out and shoot at some Pepsi cans and spray some bullets around with an automatic rifle. That's not fucking training, you guys. okay, so you're comfortable with the gun without training. Now you're more dangerous. That's all you've done.
That's an interesting thought. It's funny, like there are lots of places in Canada, and I've said this before. It's like if you, like for people who have guns in their homes, and there's not a lot of Canadians that keep guns in their homes. There just aren't. But it's like my thought is, it's like if you might get killed by a wild animal taking your garbage outside, maybe you should have a gun in your house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are places in Canada that are like that, right? They have bears and
I lived in West Virginia. We had guns by the doors because we had fucking mountain lions and black bears and yeah.
The biggest thing I have to worry about is a trash panda. Sorry, a raccoon. That's the biggest thing I have to worry about. Right, and I'll probably run away from them because those things are nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, maybe it's just kind of coming from the place that I'm kind of living. Look, I don't agree with all of Ireland's weapons laws. Like, some of them are very, very, very smart. They're very high IQ. Some of them are just brain dead fucking stupid. As in, it is illegal in Ireland for a woman to carry pepper spray, which is stupid. That needs to fucking change. That needs to change.
What?
Yes. That is
it's the best non-violent defense a woman can have against rape and murder and theft and what the fuck?
The only kind of defense that Irish women have against any type of a situation like that is to preempt that it's going to happen and have their keys in between their knuckles. That's literally the only fucking defense that they have. Like, there's nothing else. I'm not even joking there either. That is genuinely all that they have.
And start a women's combat defense training course because they all need it apparently just to live.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's stupid. But yeah, like, we just don't have any sort of gun deaths here. It just doesn't happen, you know? And like, if it did happen for whatever reason, it's like, it makes national fucking headlines because it's like, holy fucking shit, there was a gun death. There was a gun death in Ireland. It's you know, like, it's huge news. Whereas it's pretty much every other fucking day in the US. I read something earlier that there has been more gun deaths, more mass shootings, which the US classifies as three deaths or more.
Right.
There have been more mass shootings than there have been days in 2022.
Yeah, I think it's 212 or something. 212 or 215.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Seriously, we're that high now?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, it's like on the same day that this mass shooting, like, that we're talking about happened, there was another one happened as well. It's not getting as much much headlines and stuff like that. But yeah, but like, it's sort of like, look at, and I don't think like I'm being hyperbolic or anything else when I say that. I mean, like, this kind of latest one in Texas, I mean, it was unironically Sandy Hook 2.0. It was it was like that sort of age range. It was children. It was in the school. Like, look, I just can't, right? I realize that I'm not a parent, right? Michael is. I don't know, Beck, about your kind of situation. Anyway,
yeah.
The point is, I can't even imagine what after something like this comes out. I can't even imagine what every single parent in the US must be kind of going through when they hear about something like this. You know, like, because for every single one of those parents,
it gives you a fucking heart attack is what it does.
Because for each and every one of those parents, it was just like any other normal day. They dropped their kids off at school, or they walked them to the bus stop, or, you know what I mean, they waved goodbye to them as they were going.
Yeah, they don't have a clue.
And then they just didn't fucking come home that night.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just can't even imagine what that must be like, you know. And I realize that I'm coming from a point of privilege when I say that I don't know what that's like, because I mean, I fucking don't. I have no clue what that must be like.
No,
you
I
know,
would have
like,
no idea. I've never lost a child to a shooting.
Yeah,
so I don't.
Neither have I.
But it's just because, like, that's not even a possibility here. You know, like, we've had some gun crime. It is very low, and the amount of them that is like, it is like, it's, you know what I mean. it's very, very, very low, right? The total gun crime in like all of kind of modern Irish history is extremely, extremely low. But but we've never, ever at any stage in Irish history had a school shooting. It's never happened. It's never happened. So I understand that every single Irish parent never like that worry never enters their mind because it just doesn't happen. Why would it enter their you know what I mean? But I just can't even imagine what parents must be going. Like I just can't. You know, my heart bleeds for them. Like I just can't. But
it's funny. It was on CNN last night. There was one of those the man who's the former police chief of Philadelphia and of Washington D.C. He was on, and he was talking about. He was asked, I think it was by Jake Tapper, who said, something about, what does this tell you? And he said, basically the lawmakers are sitting in their positions of power, and they are relying on the fact that American voters have a very short memory. And so, November will come along and no one will remember this. And I posted something to Facebook last night. I basically said, Sandy Hook didn't change anybody's minds, right?
Yeah.
And neither will this. It seems as though, and this is to add on to what I said, but it seems as though America has made a choice. Yep. And that the choice that they seemingly, again, from the outside looking in. So I'm speaking very specifically from the outside. But it appears to me that America has made a choice that the protection of Second Amendment rights means that some kids will die in their children. And I know that seems argumentative almost, but in my mind it's just like if these types of things weren't making you change your laws, then I think you are just not still saying it's okay in a way. Like, not that it's okay that we condone it, but we're more okay with that than changing our laws to make things harder, to make these tragedies harder.
Yeah, I'm really, really sorry to do this to you again, Michael. It's something that Ox actually points out in the live chat as well. Your sound went funny again. It sort of sounded like you were underwater.
Really?
Yeah, it's very strange because your mic is not usually like this. It doesn't usually do that.
I blame my wife.
Still doing.
I got the gist of what you said and everything else, but yeah, yes, it does
check
sort
your
of
connections just in case.
Yeah, it does sort of normalize it in a way, as you said. It does, because it takes away from the tragedy that it should be. In my mind, right, I get that you can be, that you can have your love of guns and everything else, and that you can want to keep your guns, etc., etc., etc. But I think that there should have come a time after Sandy Hook that people were just like, no more. It's not even necessarily going as far as banning guns, right? It's not even necessarily doing that, but just the fact that Congress can't even get a fucking a universal background check bill passed. They can't even
apparently
do.
9 out of 10 Americans are in favor of.
Yes, yeah. There's talking about loosening the restrictions on people who have violent histories gaining access to guns. It's like, this is just so fucking stupid. It's just like, it defies all logic. It's almost like,
yep.
I'm not going to say in the last, as soon as Trump got elected, although it did kind of go fairly tits up since then, but
yeah,
even since kind of before that, it's just America has just kind of looked and acted and has been functioning as like a parody of itself. Just the fact that there can be a school shooting in a fucking elementary school where literal children are gunned down in the very place that their parents reasonably expect them to be safe and secure until they pick them up at night. just the fact that didn't change fucking everyone's mind, and they were like, no, okay, we can have guns, we're still going to keep making guns, etc., 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 but the restrictions, the criteria that you have to pass to now be able to get guns is now way the fuck up here. Like, that should have just been basic, everybody's fucking response. But just the fact that it
really
wasn't...
It's really hard to get a gun in Canada. It's really hard to buy a gun legally in Canada.
Yeah. Now, I will be kind of going in... It's sort of strange, because on the last stream that I did as well, I did say this. I said that I'm not a massive fan of TYT, and I'm still not. But it was what Anna had said about the possible overturning of Roe v. Wade. I thought that her response was fucking brilliant. They also did a response to the school shooting, and Cenk, who I have untold amount of disagreements with, and hate the fact that he goes, of course, to everything. I hate that. Just stop doing it. Just, like, please, just stop. But I think that his rant on this is just... Oh my god, it's fucking perfect. So, yeah, we're going to indulge ourselves, and I think that a lot of the things that he says here kind of echoes what my own personal views are. But look, we will watch, we will engage, we will see how it goes, and we shall talk about it then.
Okay.
Believed that responding officers killed
That's
him.
the governor, by the way. That's it, yeah.
Now, we don't know what the motive is yet, but I do want to stay on the topic of Governor Abbott and his failed leadership in the state of Texas, because in 2021 alone, Abbott signed 2 laws allowing Texans 21 and older to carry handguns without licenses or gun training, okay? No licenses, no gun training. Gee, I wonder what could happen. Further, he also now allows certain 18 to 20-year-olds to carry handguns too. And of course, he says that the shooting is incomprehensible. How could this happen? Well, when guns are readily available, when you live in a country that intentionally ignores mental health issues, when you have a political party, a dominant political party in the country that's constantly preaching violence, that's constantly talking about civil war in the country. Wow, is it a surprise that we have mass shootings on a regular basis, including a mass shooting in an elementary school that, as of now, the numbers could get higher, has killed 14 elementary school students? Gee, I wonder, Cenk, I wonder how this could happen. How could this happen?
Incomprehensible, he says. Well, you loosen gun laws and gun regulation so that more people can commit more massacres. There, I comprehended it. It was so easy.
Yep.
It's your fault. That son of a bitch almost looks cheery reading that news. Did you see that? He's like, oh yeah, 14 kids are dead. And oh, did the check clear from the NRA? Did the check clear? Oh yes.
Yeah.
And it's not just checks in this case. Let's be clear. Almost everything politicians do in America is because of money. We'll come back to that in a second. But the right wing enjoys the violence. They enjoy the gun culture, the violent culture. That's why 40% of them say now it's time for violence. That's the replacement theories of violent theory, where they say, okay, let's go kill the immigrants because they're going to replace us good white people, etc. And now, by the way, latest poll out, after the Buffalo shooting, over 60% of Republicans say they believe in the white replacement theory.
What could go wrong, Cenk?
Incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible.
Yeah.
And look, we don't know what the motive is for the shooter. So I want to be clear, we're not connecting it to crazy, white replacement theory stuff. It could be confirmed later, we don't know. We don't know what the motive is, I want to be clear. However, you have a dangerous combination in this country where you have essentially like guns everywhere, anyone can get their hands on it. No requirements to have a license in the state of Texas. No requirements to be trained with a gun in the state of Texas, much like many other red states across the country. The Supreme Court, by the way, is poised to soon make a decision that could allow for open carry across the country. So let's sit around and wait for that bomb to drop. And you have a political party that like revels in, they're giddy about the possibility of a civil war or violence in the country. They intentionally vote down any legislation, either on a state level or a federal level, that would help with mental health treatment in this country. And I want you to keep that in mind as we go to this tweet from Marjorie Greene. Okay, because this is, it's
no.
almost as if like they have this game plan, it's a script, they follow the script after every mass shooting. Let's take a look at that tweet. Our nation needs to take a serious look at the state of mental health today.
Yeah, especially for you, you goddamn lunatic. You think it was the Jewish space lasers that killed those kids? It's your goddamn policies that killed them.
Exactly.
Mental health. You have a lunatic telling us about mental health. All right then, Marjorie Taylor Greene, what the hell did you do about it? Did you pass a law?
No, she voted against it.
Oh, you voted against it. Oh, how funny. Ha ha, other people's kids are dead. And yes, it is definitely the Republican Party's fault.
It is.
Now, I'm gonna get back to the Democratic Party because they are not at all blameless. But the Republican Party celebrates the massacre of our children because they say, no, my guns are more important. My guns, my guns. Now look, I can prove you easily that the problem isn't the cause of any particular shooter. Yes, the replacement theory is nuts. Yes, it's driving more violence. Yes, Trump constantly calling for a civil war. He literally called for civil war yesterday on his social media platform. Yes, all those things contribute mightily to the problem. But when you talk about gun control, it's so easy to understand. Okay, the cause isn't as important as the weapon in this case. Why? Now, if we said, hey, you know what? Forget just guns and machine guns and technically it's not a machine gun. Oh, I know gun control. I don't give a goddamn, okay? The kids are dead. So, okay, automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons, assault rifles, on and on. They love them all. They're like, kill, 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 right? That's what Republicans are about. That's what the right wing's about. They're killing our kids. They're literally killing our kids. And they love it.
Actual kids that are actually, viable outside the womb.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that
kids,
too.
They have no problem
So-
watching them die on school campuses on a regular basis. No problem. And the reason why I say no problem is because their actions prove it. Go ahead.
So, if you say, hey, we don't need any gun control, as all lunatic right-wingers say, you're all lunatics, okay? So, all right, then what about RPGs? Okay, no gun control, no arms control. It says right to bear arms in the Second Amendment. Should we give everybody an RPG, a shoulder-fired missile? So that, but you said, well, don't do that. I mean, there's crazy people. You remember that guy at work? Oh my God, that guy at the post office. That's a little crazy, right? I mean, you can't walk around with shoulder-fired missiles. Why not? We walk around with assault rifles that cut down 14 kids before anybody can respond. You love that if you're against gun control. You love that. Don't tell me you don't want RPGs. And by the way, if you're a Republican, secretly, you know right now in your head, you're thinking, boy, I'd love an RPG. Okay, well, then let's extend that argument further. Why don't we give everyone a small nuclear device? What? You don't want any control, right? Freedom, your freedom. Let's just nuke each other. Let's just nuke each other, right? And then go, oh, which one's the cause? I wonder what's the cause. The cause is there's a lot of unstable people in the world. If you give them all of the weapons that we have, they will use it against us and our kids. Dumb. I'm so sick of it. I'm supposed to not call them stupid. They're murdering our kids with weapons that you allow them to have for no goddamn reason. Okay, dumb, what do you want them to have, nukes? You probably do. If you're a right winger, you're probably that stupid. Then you'd be like, oh, just give them nukes. Who cares? Let them murder all of our kids at once. Because I don't want any gun control. I have a hobby I masturbate to called guns. And I don't care if it kills your kids. That's what you say. One of these days, a parent whose kids were murdered is going to snap. And then all of a sudden, you're gonna say, oh, no, guns, I don't know about guns. You're going to create a civil war, you morons.
They want it. They can't even stop repeating how much they want it. They repeat it on a regular basis. I want to read you a tweet from Texas Governor Greg Abbott dating back to October of 2015. This is what he wrote. I'm embarrassed. Texas is #2 in the nation for gun purchases. Let's pick up the pace, Texans.
Hey, congratulations, Greg Abbott. You should be super proud today with blood all over your hands. Hey, we're #1 now. We killed the most children. Congratulations, Greg Abbott, and all of you monster Republicans. You're monsters. Now let's turn to the goddamn Democrats. What are you gonna do? I guarantee it, I'll predict it ahead of time, and then the New York Times and CNN and MSNBC will all lie to you and tell you, oh, they're geniuses, they're master legislators, they're the greatest people on earth. These goddamn Democrats that do nothing. Here's what they'll do. They'll send you a goddamn fundraising email. Then Pelosi and Biden and Schumer will be like, hey, give me money, right? And then you know what they'll do with your money? Not a goddamn thing.
They'll help right-wing Democrats get elected.
They'll say, oh, but there was nothing we could do. Then why'd you send a goddamn fundraising email? Okay? Why'd you care about your own power? Oh, elect me so I'll do nothing. Oh, the parliamentarian, the filibuster. What does Joe goddamn Manchin think? Joe Manchin is a right-winger. He thinks the deaths of these children is a great idea. He doesn't want gun control. You remember his first ad when he was running for Senate? He shot a bill of Obama's. What did he shoot, Obamacare? He's the one that, he loves the gun violence. But Biden says, I'm not the president. I'm just a weakling, an impotent weakling. I just defer all of my power to Joe Manchin. And you think Biden doesn't want it? Biden loves that Manchin as president. He loves it because he doesn't want to do anything. Prove me wrong, Biden. You're not gonna prove me wrong like a little bitch. You're gonna lie down for Manchin and Sinema and Republicans. And you're gonna let our kids get massacred because you can say, there's nothing I can do. Donors, are you happy? Are you happy? I told you nothing would fundamentally change. Our kids are still getting massacred. Are you happy, donors? And they're getting a pat on the head. Good job, Joe. Good job. Go back to sleep. Prove me wrong. I guarantee you he won't. I guarantee you Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden will all lay down for the Republicans. They won't do a goddamn thing. It's hopeless out here. Totally hopeless.
It is hopeless.
And if you're a right-winger, don't ever call yourself pro-life. You goddamn liars. All of these kids are dead, and you don't want to do a thing about it. Mental health, my ass. You never once passed the mental health bill, let alone gun control. How many of our kids are gonna get murdered? And the news media, the goddamn news media, they will tell us we're crazy. Oh, you're so upset. What are you upset about? It's only 14 dead kids. Our anchors go out there like goddamn robots and they go, oh, the 14 kids are murdered. And you know what? Oh, the Democrats will probably help you. Oh yeah, well, the Republicans are totally innocent. Totally innocent. Don't say anything about the goddamn politicians. Why do you hate Anderson Cooper? I don't mean to pick on him. MSNBC anchors, Fox News anchors, all of you. Why don't you go kiss the ass of a politician today? If you work at the New York Times, you know what you're gonna do today? You're gonna kiss the ass of a politician. And you're gonna say, there's nothing they can do, there's nothing they can do, there's nothing they can do. These mean guys online are saying the politicians are supposed to actually pass laws and actually protect us. They're not gonna do it. They're all lying to you. And the New York Times and CNN will come and tell you, no, they're not lying. They're wonderful people. No, they're not. They're all goddamn liars. We're all in danger, all in grave danger. No one's gonna stop all of these massacres. No one's ever gonna stop them. And if you're sending your kids to school today or tomorrow, I don't know if they're gonna come home. And I'm positive no one's going to help you.
Yeah, you're right. And this is what freedom is, I guess. This is what liberty is. We tell our kids sweet little stories about freedom and liberty and how we're the greatest country in the world as their schools get shot up and as they get massacred by, I mean, in some cases, 18-year-olds who believe that they need to carry out these acts of violence to save the country. And then we get the same story over and over again from the right wing about how we need to focus on mental health care as they vote down any money that would go toward a decent mental health program in this country. Final thing I want to get to is Ken Paxton. And I want you to keep in mind that for the last year, all we have heard from the right wing in this country is that our educators are terrible because they refuse to go back to school in the middle of a pandemic when they feel unsafe, when students aren't showing up to classes because their parents feel unsafe in the middle of a pandemic. We've heard them defame teachers as groomers, as sexual predators. Keep all that context in mind as we hear what Attorney General from Texas, Ken Paxton, thinks we need to do in response to these mass shootings.
Oh, no. I know your team has dealt with this before. What were some of the solutions? And I know that Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick have also come up with task forces to harden these schools so they're not easy targets, easy prey for crazy people who go nuts with firearms. He looks like he's on heroin. Can you tell us has been talked about in the past? What has been implemented and what hasn't been?
Yeah, sadly, this has happened again, and it's a horrible tragedy. But the types of things that we talked about, and I'll never forget it after the Santa Fe shooting, was having one point of entry, making it more difficult for people even to get in that point of entry, make sure that they and having potentially teachers and other administrators who have gone through training and who are armed, because first responders typically can't get there in time to prevent a shooting. It's just not possible unless you have a police officer on every campus, which for a lot of these schools is almost impossible. So I think you're going to have to do more at the school, because it typically involves very short periods of time, and you have to have people trained on campus to react.
Just want to remind you again that the right wing has been defaming teachers as groomers, and now they're talking about arming them, as they do in the aftermath of every school shooting. The other thing I want to note is there was a trained shooter at the supermarket where the Buffalo shooter gunned down African Americans. That security guard was an ex-cop, and he actually had a firearm, shot at the Buffalo shooter, and since he was wearing body armor, it did nothing. So it's not a solution. He knows it's not a solution. And I should note, when you hear all of that nonsense coming from a right-wing lawmaker, whether it's on a state level or federal level, understand they are openly placing priority for profits over people. Profits over people. Profits for gun manufacturers over people. That is what they're really saying to you. In fact, the National Rifle Association's annual meeting is set to be held in Houston starting on Friday. Former President Donald Trump, Greg Abbott, and Senator Ted Cruz are among those scheduled to address the gathering.
I hope they do. Are they going to cover the checks in blood? Because that would be more appropriate. And then Ted Cruz would probably love it. In fact, I'm going to end on Ted Cruz. Let's just note that Ken Paxton is saying, hey, I got a great idea. Why don't we teach the teachers how to shoot the right students? Because remember, a lot of times they're students. Maybe they'll shoot the wrong students, but who cares? As long as people are shooting and everybody's dying, Ken Paxton's super happy about it. Ted Cruz tweeted, Heidi and I are fervently lifting up in prayer the children and families in the horrific shooting in Texas. We're in close contact with local officials, but the precise details are still unfolding. Thank you to heroic law enforcement and first responders for acting so swiftly. You're lifting up in prayer, are you? No, I don't think so, Ted. I think you're lifting up your check and celebrating the massacre of those children because you don't give a goddamn about their lives. Don't tell us you're praying after you already profited off of these massacres. So Jordan Ewell, a TYT contributor, tweeted about his NRA donations. You know how much money Ted Cruz has made by helping gun manufacturers massacre your kids? $176,274. Average gun deaths in his state per year, $3,139. All of that blood all over Ted Cruz's hands. But hey, he got paid. He got paid. And by the way, you people, reporters in New York Times and CNN, those are not innocent campaign contributions. Perfectly normal, nothing to see here. Those are bribes. You don't give a politician money for the general good. You give a politician money to bribe them. But no, don't say it. It might offend the feelings of the powerful. You goddamn losers. If you're a reporter, you're not a reporter. If you're in mainstream media, you're in the marketing arm of corporate ruling. You don't even know it. You're pathetic. Why don't you actually try to challenge them? Instead, what they'll do is they'll yell at us. Oh, can you believe they lost their temper? It was only 14 kids. It wasn't our kids. Who cares? Why would you lose your temper over that? Let's just be robots. No, here, one last rule, guys. Vote if you can. Do your homework. There's some good incumbents, but they are very, very rare. Go into your primaries, for God's sake. I know the media only...
I know I paused there a little bit before the end, but it's kind of pretty much over there.
Yeah, that's a lot to consume.
As I said, I don't normally agree with TYT. I don't, like, I've had fierce disagreements with them. But I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I mean, like, he like literally fucking nailed that. And
he did.
There was some points there that, like, I was like a little bit kind of speechless at, it's the passion, man. It's the passion that like he spoke with.
Yeah.
You know, like they're not his kids. You know, he's never met the victims of this shooting, but he cares. He actually gives a fuck.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that's so.
Yeah, Julie in the chat was saying, "Wow, he yells a lot," and I'm like, "But he doesn't usually yell.
Yeah,
he's just very passionate about this.
Yeah,
usually if somebody's gonna yell, it's her.
yeah. It
she
is.
yells more frequently, but he
Yeah.
only does it when he's really pissed off about something.
Yeah, what's interesting is that people will look at this from the right, or the gun lovers and stuff like that, and they'll yell back about about him being hyperbolic. And he wasn't being hyperbolic. He was being very descriptive about a real situation.
Mm.
There was no hyperbole in there. Like, really. There was no hyperbole there. There wasn't.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't even know what to kind of say after that. You know, like, it's just like he said it fucking just perfectly. Like everything that I would want to say, he did. He said it.
Yep. I don't even know how to add to it.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
to do
Both
but
of
just
them
kind
were
of
just
nod
so
and say good
spot
job.
on.
Yeah,
They were just so
nod
spot
and say
on.
good job.
Yep, that's right.
But it is though that like one of Anna's last points was showing the response about arming teachers and stuff like that, and like I mean, like what she said is true. They've spent the last fucking 6 to 8 months calling them all groomers, saying that they're indoctrinating your children into being part of LGBTQ. You know, it's and it's all because they're fucking talking about either their own personal relationships, as like almost every fucking teacher does. I constantly remember when I was in fucking primary school, secondary school, even in college, they would make reference to their partners. They'd come in, they'd say something. It wouldn't have anything to do with the subject, but they'd just say something. That's fucking it happens everywhere.
It's just relatable. It's just being relatable.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're just human.
You know, I mean,
part of your life. You talk about it.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, like with the Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, and yes, I've had a conversation about whether it's actually a Don't Say Gay bill. It is a Don't Say Gay bill. But like even with that, like if you have a student who now comes up to you and is like, "Hey, I'm kind of thinking that I might be trans, or I might be gay, or I might be lesbian," it's like, I mean, like what do you? If that bill was to be passed as it is exactly written, what the fuck is the teacher supposed to say in that instance? You know? Okay, yeah, that's kind of cool, but I can't talk to you about it, so shoo.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
what the fuck? You know, like it's just.
And teachers are such a big impact on children's lives.
Yeah, massively.
Like they are huge. They are like sub parents.
Yeah.
Because they're teaching you, they're mentoring you. You look up to them, and when teachers fail you, it hurts you as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do? Like you go to that teacher and they say, "Oh," you go to the guidance counselor, and the guidance counselor's like, "Sorry, can't talk about it." What the fuck are they there for?
Yeah.
That's why they're there. To help the students.
It's just, yeah, I mean, like, it's that, and like, look at, like, obviously not every teacher is, you know, good. I've had some bad teachers. I've had some fucking fantastic teachers. But it's just, it's just the fact that they're even kind of talking about this, and they have talked about it for the last couple of mass shootings. But like this whole notion of arming teachers, like, it's just. Is it not enough that, you know, we're trusting teachers to educate our children, that we're trusting them to be responsible for our children? We're
bodyguards.
But now they have to be bodyguards. But now they have to, in a literal life or death situation, have to figure out the right student to shoot at, aside from the position that's putting them in, because, you know, not every school shooter is 18. It's not that they're killing an adult, but sometimes they're below the age of 18, making them a minor, making them a child in the eyes of the law.
And then you're also asking the teacher to shoot at a child, emotional connection with.
Yeah,
because it's their student.
You know, it's just.
It's not
stupid.
even right to ask them to do that.
It's stupid on the face of it, but then when you think about it for even more than 5 seconds, you're like, think about the position that's putting the teachers in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost an impossible position because, of course, if they were in that situation, and of course, if they had a gun with them, of course, they would want to defend the children that are currently being shot at, but also just the fact that you are now putting them in a position where they might have to shoot and potentially kill a child. Like, they're not.
That is not why they went into teaching.
Exactly,
folks.
but they're
they
also
go into
not
teaching because they love kids, not because they want to shoot them.
Yeah, but like,
it's not law enforcement.
To put them in a position where they might have to like mentally go with that for potentially the rest of their lives.
No, you know what they need to do? I just thought of this. This is my new opinion. Instead of giving all these goddamn upper-ups in the states fucking raises, they need to hire more police and have them in the fucking schools every fucking day, patrolling the goddamn halls. Like 2 per school. And then you know what? That shit will fucking stop. But you know what? They're not going to do that because they can't have that raise every year. It takes it out of their budget.
Yeah, it is interesting, Beck, what you said there, because one of the things that made me think of is, all the social programs that get cut. I have friends that are teachers in Pennsylvania, and it's like the teachers don't make very much, and now you want them to add on to their responsibilities. Supply them with a gun. Don't give them the teaching materials they need to teach the kids, but we'll give them we'll give them a gun.
Yeah.
And then
that's worth the amount of the teaching materials they needed all year.
Yeah,
probably like I don't know what it cost, but yeah, probably right on par.
A decent basic handguns, anywhere from $700 or $800 to $1,500, depending on how nice and small and whatever you want it. And then you got to pay for the licensing, and you got to register it, and then you have to buy the fucking holster, and then.
Well, not everywhere.
You have to go through the class of a concealed carry, and which is not enough for defending your home. It's just a basic class.
Yeah.
Anyway,
guys, we've kind of reached the point where I kind of have to get out.
Yeah, I got to get off here too.
No problem. Yeah, I was actually just thinking about wrapping up. Oh, my cat's behind me. I didn't even know that he was there.
Stephen, thank you for raising my blood pressure.
No problem. Yeah, look, we didn't get on to Elon Musk. We will eventually. I'm coming for you, Elon. Which is what he wanted to do with the fucking masseuse. But
nice.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be talking about that. Yeah, I'm going to try and stick to Saturday. I should be. I'm finished at 10, and I normally stream at 11 my local time. So yeah, I'll be around for Saturday. It'll be on Elon. I don't know what else. Probably something else will happen in the next couple of days. But
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just watch the U.S. news. Something stupid will happen.
Exactly. Look, I want to thank Beck and Michael for sticking around, for chatting with me. I want to thank everybody in the audience. We've had very, very, very good views for my channel the entire stream. So thank you so much. If you haven't, please do all of that YouTuber bollocks. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and we shall talk to you in the next one.
Cheers.
Peace out, everybody.